we talked about vision, and we talked about Walt Disney and the flower he drew as a kid. Has anyone ever been to Main Street at Disneyland? And the movie theater they have in there? If you go inside the movie theater on a 24-hour loop, it's the first Disney cartoon ever made. You know what it's called?
Steamboat Willie.
Steamboat Willie, yes. And anyone, Minnie Mouse is in that. And she's famous for wearing a bow on her head, right? But what is Minnie wearing in that Steamboat Willie on her head? Yes, sir.
Well, I'm just stretching.
Oh. Anyone know? The flower. And maybe it's a secret ode to all the dreamers out there. The power of your vision. You see, yes, I said raise your hand if you ever been to Walt Disney, all your hands were down. And I said raise your hand if you ever been to a Disney park, experienced a Disney product, watched a Disney movie, and all your hands went up. It's the power of vision. You haven't met Walt Disney, but you met his vision. What's going to be the vision for your life? And as leaders, once we help someone hit that double vision, the vision for us as a company, as an organization, and then the vision for each individual in the organization, how they can become more so we can become this vision. You now got to create and foster the right environment so the vision can happen, and you got to focus on relationships with each individual to make sure it happens. Who does Tom Brady play for?
Bucks.
Who does he play for, Tom Brady?
The Buccaneers.
Who doesn't he play for anymore?
Patriots.
Why?
Because more money.
No?
No, not true. He was a free agent.
Why is he? His whole career, from Michigan to Patriots, environment, won all these Super Bowls. Why is he not there? Why did he almost go to the 49ers? Why did he end up in the Buccaneers? What happened?
Because they sucked and he wanted to win. He wanted to lead them to the top.
He didn't feel wanted. They wouldn't give the long-term contract he wanted. The guy who led him to all these Super Bowls. The star QB, maybe probably the greatest of all time, wanted what every human being wants. We want to be wanted. And he wasn't getting it from Belichick. You saw that kind of cold hug the other day. There's a new book coming out about it. That's how powerful environment is. Your number one job as a leader is to make the people you're leading feel loved, feel seen. Remember we talked about what Oprah said in all her years in the Oprah Winfrey Show, what she learned from all the kings and queens and famous people to the housewives. They all the same thing come. They want to know, do you see me? Do I matter to you? Did I do a good job? That's your job as a leader. After you cast the vision, you got to create an environment where people feel seen. You got, as a leader, you get like a highlighter. Make others feel seen, important, valued, and stand out. And so many leaders fail at this. And all the ways you're a fail as a leader, it can't be a failure of love for the people you lead. That's the number one failure. 80% of American adults, surveys say that their boss does not care about them. 80%. That means 20% are doing a good job. That's a failure. You spend more time at your job than anywhere else. Remember, you don't need a position to be a leader. It's who you are as a person. Your number one job is to love the people you lead. And create an environment where they feel welcomed, seen, and that they belong. Today we're going to talk about two bears today. Corduroy the bear and Smokey the bear.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get to Smokey. Okay, Alex, when we talk about relationships. Right now we're talking about environment. Has anyone read the story of Corduroy the bear? Corduroy is this bear on a shelf who's missing a button. And no one wants him. And all he wants, more than anything in the world, is to belong. He wants a friend, a home, and a hug. A friend, a home, and a hug. And this little girl comes up and says, Mommy, Mommy, can I get this bear? And she has it in her hand. He's touched for the first time. He feels he's about to go somewhere. And Mom goes, oh, he's missing a button. Put him back. I don't want that bear. And she's so sad, and Corduroy is so sad. And he spends the whole night looking through the toy store trying to find a place where I belong. Who wants me? Where's my environment that says I love you and you belong here? And then the next day, the girl comes back. And she buys Corduroy with her own money, takes him home, and sews on a button for him. And he says, I finally have a home. I finally have a family. And someone to hug me. And at the end of the day today, I'm going to give every one of you these little corduroy cards with an original poem I wrote on and a wooden button. To remind you, you belong here. And wherever you go out there where you feel like you're ostracized, I see you. You matter to me. I'm happy when you're here. I'm sad when you're absent. You have a family, a home, and a hug here if you need it. The buttons of belonging. That's our number one job as leaders, is to give out buttons of belonging figuratively. I'm going to give you literal buttons later today. What are you doing in your teams, your clubs, your homes, your siblings, your organizations you're involved in to make everyone around you feel like they belong and they're wanted? Create that kind of environment. Being the highlighter. Shh, I see you. You're important. You're valued. You're standing out. I'm shining my light onto you. That's leadership. You also got to create an environment where you challenge people. You know, you can't be a great leader if all you ever do is say great job. You got to challenge and critique people sometimes too and say we can be better. We can do more. Here's how. Let me pivot and tilt you a bit. You got to love tough sometimes. You got to be tough on people sometimes. You got to have stern conversations. You got to let them know it's out of love. I'm trying to grow you. These things matter. Because there's people all around us, just like Corduroy, wanting someone to say, I love you the way you are. Here's a button belonging. Let me sow into your heart and let you know you can be more than you are too. I'm going to grow you. No matter how many faults you have, I got you. You're good. And then we go from Corduroy the bear, creating an environment that matters. You got to be building relationships inside the environment with each individual on your team. You can't skip anyone. You know, we mentioned how 80% of adults feel like their boss don't care about me. My entire adult life and all my jobs, going all the way back to my first jobs, working at Albertsons, working for the sanitation district, I've had one boss, one, who I felt took an interest in who I was as a human being, who genuinely cared about me and wanted to get to know who I was as a person, who gave me a button, so to speak. One! In my entire adult life, of all my bosses. And all the ways you fail as a leader, it can't be a failure of love for those you lead. We're all going to flaw. We can't flaw in love. We got a gold medal in love, like I told you guys. I'm going to give you those gold medal love first things. We got love first. It's paramount. There's nothing more important in our environment. So when someone knows they're loved, then you can challenge them and take them places that are hard and difficult. And not always easy or comfortable. Leadership requires a relationship. If there is no relationship, there is no leadership. It's just bossing happening. There's a big difference. When it comes to relationships, it's tough because people are not easy to deal with. We have a 67% divorce rate in this country. We're now working very hard at relationships. If you worked as hard in the middle of the relationship as you did in the beginning, there probably wouldn't be an end. Think about that. Relationships stop working when you stop working in the relationship. If you worked as hard in the middle as you did in the beginning, there probably wouldn't be an end. And it requires both people working. Like the old Chris Rock joke. Relationships aren't hard. They're only hard when one person's working at it. One person can't move a couch. Two can move it easily. It takes two. We talked about at the beginning of the year, education is not a game of hide and go seek where you hide and my job as a teacher, the leader, is to try and do all the work and go find you. Now, education is tag. I get you, then you got to come do what? Get me, and then get other people too. We're all involved in creating the relationship. But the leader is the number one person involved in creating the environment. But there is no leadership unless there is a relationship. And of all those bosses I mentioned, I only have a relationship with one of them. The rest, they were just a boss. They were never a leader to me. How sad. What a missed opportunity. And one of the hardest things you need to do in your relationships is solve problems. You know, I was touring schools the other night, as a school board member, one of the math teachers has a big, huge poster across the wall that says, solve problems. That's really our job as leaders, is to solve problems. People are going to come to us with difficult challenges. Sometimes there's going to be feuding, there's going to be conflict. We got to be stoic and help resolve that. Not taking things personal when they criticize us too. I had a boss one time who said to me, I don't like when people come to me with problems. I wish they just came to me with solutions. And I said, if they had solutions, why would they need to come to you? What do we need you for then? And he just kind of left the room. He didn't understand what his job was as a leader. We talked about Corduroy. Now I want to talk about Smokey the Bear. My little niece, a couple years ago, we were in the wetland. Just terribly just got ruined by all the oil spill in the wetlands. And my mom, her grandma, had given her a Smokey the Bear
Plush?
doll, what do you call it? Teddy bear like this. And her little sister, who was 2, was in a stroller. And she had given it, her little sister hold on to it, or going through all the wetlands. My brother, my sister-in-law, my little niece, Lily, who was 9 at the time, and my little niece, Avery, who was 2. And it's like an hour and a half. We've gone through the whole trail. We're about to exit, go back to the car. And all of a sudden, Lily says, Where's Smokey? And you hear a little 2-year-old Avery go, I dropped it. And we was like, what? Where? I don't remember, I dropped it. And Lily is distraught. Her bear is gone, it's missing. And she's like, Dad, we have to go back. And he's like, no, it's hot out, we've been out there. He's like, no, I'm not going back. He's like, Dad, we have to go back. He's like, no, I can't do it. And she's, Mom, please, Mom, please. And he's like, Lily, it could be anywhere out there. She goes, I don't care, it's my bear. And I say, I'm trying to, Lily, I'll buy you a new bear. She goes, I don't want a new bear. My grandma bought me a bear. I want that bear. And she's refusing to leave. She's defying her authority figures. Her dad is saying, no, we're going. She's saying, no, I'm not. I'm not leaving my bear behind. I'm not leaving my bear behind. And then finally I say, Stuart, let me just walk with her for a little bit. You head to the car with Avery. And Lily and I start walking on the road. Literally maybe 25, 30 seconds. I'm a little bit in front of her. Her mom's over here looking. And behind me. And then I hear this little 9-year-old girl goes, there he is! And she runs. And there's Smokey the Bear sitting up. He's a bigger than this. Sitting up on the side of the road. And she grabs him and courses him. And is like, oh, my bear, my bear, my bear. And she's so elated and happy. We start walking back. And we see this family. They go, oh, you're the one that lost the bear? Like, yeah. Oh, we found it on the road a while back. And we have a little daughter, too. We know how important teddy bears are to kids. So we put him out of the road and sat him to the side, and hopefully his owner would find him. She goes, thank you so much. And there's 2 lessons I learned that day about relationships. What if our leaders, your coaches, your teachers, your parents, your bosses, cared about their people as much as this little girl cared about a bear, a stuffed animal? What if when people annoy us or hurt our feelings or get left behind in some way, and we say, I'm not leaving my bear behind. None of my people are being left. I know it's going to be extra work. It's hot out. I'm not really sure how to solve it. It might take me hours. But they are worth the growth. The most difficult person in your organization, the one who challenges the most as a leader, they are worthy of being loved and given a button and saying, Smokey the Bear, I don't want another one, I want that one, you matter. I'm going to defy authority. I'm going to do all I can to make sure I find you. Because when you're a leader, you can't leave anyone behind on your team. You got to fight for your people. Leaders who don't get fired up, who are too afraid to lose their jobs, they never confront the bosses ahead of them, aren't doing their job. When you're afraid to lose your job, you're failing to do your job and fight for your people and stand up for those who need you, who need your voice. It's one of my main jobs as a school board member, is give a voice to kids who don't have one, and give a voice to teachers who across this nation have never been given a voice in the power decision-making room. They have a voice in me now, both of them. And a voice for parents as well. Fight for your people. I got to challenge people sometimes. You say, no, you're not listening. Their voice matters too. The lesson of Smokey the Bear. We don't leave anyone behind. Everyone matters. And I'm willing to fight for my people. Are you willing to fight for yours? And here's the other beautiful thing. Had I not listened to Lily, her persuasion, and gone back, we never would have witnessed the action of love and kindness from a stranger. We just happened to bump into them. And we got to experience someone else practicing empathy. Someone else creating an environment for a stranger. Environments aren't just for your team. It's everywhere you go. That they knew someone else might feel like their little daughter felt with this missing bear, and we're going to pick it up, we're going to clean them off, and we're going to put them on the side of the road. Every day you're creating an environment, and you're building relationships. Everywhere you go. But the story you tell, the words you use, and how you treat yourself, and how you treat others. You don't need a title to be a leader. You're a leader every day because you influence other human beings. So my challenge for you is leave no one behind, including yourself. Fight for you. Use your voice to speak up for yourself when you're scared or you're doubting. And say, I'm worthy to go back for. And be someone who gives your people buttons of belonging and says you're wanted here. We don't lose Tom Brady's, and we don't lose teddy bears either. The star and the non-material, they all matter. Your lives matter most in the moment you let other people know how much their lives matter. That's your main job as a leader, is to speak and show love every day. Make people feel like they belong and they're wanted. That make sense? Yeah. I have a button for all of you right now. Here you go. I want you to read the poem, and you're going to be doing your